If you're new here, then welcome to Sweet Red Poppy. I'm Kim, and if you love all things Cricut, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I share step-by-step tutorials here, as well as free SVG files, and I want to help you get the very most out of your Cricut machine. Now, today I teamed up with JOANN to bring you a tutorial that features the brand new Cricut EasyPress 3, as well as the Cricut Heat app. So I am going to be walking you through how to use iron-on in this step-by-step tutorial, and I'm also going to be sharing some of my own favorite tips and tricks. That way we can ensure that you get flawless transfers every single time. Now, if you are planning on using either the first or second version of the Cricut EasyPress, you can still follow along with this tutorial. I'm going to be providing instructions that apply to all of the machines. Now, our EasyPress 3 has all of the features that we love from our EasyPress 2, like consistent heating, temperature control, even an accurate timer. But now it is Bluetooth enabled, and that means that it's able to connect to our Cricut Heat app. So what is the Cricut Heat app? The Cricut Heat app was designed by Cricut to take the guesswork out of creating projects using iron-on and even infusible ink. So it is going to walk you through every single step of the process, from preheating your base all the way to peeling away your liner. Now, what's really great about the Cricut Heat app is it allows you to input your specific base material, the transfer material that you're going to be applying it to, as well as the surface that you're planning on pressing on. Now, if you haven't already, go ahead and download the Cricut Heat app. It's a free download. You can find it in the Apple App Store or even in the Google Play Store. You will need to download this app in order to activate the EasyPress 3, and it's going to ensure that you have the latest firmware. Now, to use this app, you will need a Bluetooth-enabled Cricut heat press. If you don't have a Bluetooth-enabled heat press, be sure to refer to the heat guide, which is on Cricut.com, and that's going to tell you all of the supplies you'll need for your project, how you should prepare your base, the method of application, the best temperature, everything that you'll need to know. You'll find that the information there is pretty similar to what you'll get in the Cricut Heat app. You just won't have access to the automation. So, what is iron-on vinyl? Before we get started on our project, let's go ahead and take a quick jump into an overview of what iron-on is, as well as what it isn't. Iron-on is typically referred to as heat transfer vinyl within the crafting community. You'll also hear it shortened to HTV. Now, Cricut branded HTV is called iron-on. If you're not familiar with Cricut's iron-on vinyl, it's a heat-sensitive adhesive, and it can be applied to fabrics, metal, paper, even wood. It also comes in a really wide variety of colors, patterns, and different types. So you'll hear things like Sport Flex, patterned iron-on, glitter, holographic, foil, mesh, even smart iron-on. Now, heat transfer vinyl, or iron-on, comes with two different sides. The first is a side that has this clear liner, and it's a heat-resistant plastic, and this can withstand high temperatures of heat without melting. Now, this is what's going to protect your iron-on from burning. The other side is the back, and this is the actual iron-on adhesive. You'll notice it's not sticky, and it does require heat in order to be activated. Now, heat transfer vinyl and iron-on are not the same as vinyl. Vinyl is going to feature a sticky backing, and it can be applied to a variety of non-porous spaces like glass, walls, even plastic, and vinyl is going to be applied to its surface using pressure. Now, a quick way to tell the two apart from each other is just to pay attention to the liner. Iron-on has a clear protective liner sheet, while vinyl typically is going to have this backing that can be peeled away to reveal a sticky adhesive. The most popular iron-on is everyday iron-on. It's versatile, it's durable, it's really user-friendly, and it is my go-to iron-on material for the majority of the projects that I create. Now, this material can be used to layer as the base layer. It can also be the top layer. It could even be both. Now that we've covered the basics of iron-on, let's go ahead and jump right into our tutorial. Now, I am going to be using everyday iron-on, but feel free to try out whatever kind of iron-on catches your eye. For this project, you will need the following supplies: Cricut Everyday Iron-On Vinyl, a fabric base like a t-shirt, tote bag, or even an apron, a Cricut machine, this could be a Cricut Joy, Cricut Explore, or Cricut Maker, a green standard grip mat, a Cricut EasyPress, this could be the 1, 2, or 3, a Cricut EasyPress mat, a weeding tool, and a true control knife. All of these products can be found at your local JOANN or by shopping online at joann.com. JOANN has a great selection of t-shirts, aprons, and tote bags that would all work perfectly with this iron-on tutorial. I've also provided a free bundle of SVG files that would work perfectly with this project. You can find them linked below this video, so go ahead and download your files to your device. As you're watching this video, feel free to craft along with me. If you want to pause the video after I've given you the instruction, then you can complete it yourself, and then you can unpause the video once you're ready for the next step. Step 1, create your image in Design Space. To get started on your project, go ahead and open up Cricut Design Space. Now this can be accessed from your phone, your tablet, or even your computer. I'm going to be working on Design Space from my laptop computer, so if you're using a tablet or a phone, it might look slightly different, but you'll still have the same functionality. Go ahead and click on the plus sign to create a new project. In the Design panel on the left, you'll want to select Upload from the bottom of the menu. Go ahead and click Upload Image, and then you can click Browse. This will allow you to find your file, or alternatively, you could drag and drop the file. Once you navigate to the file on your device, click Open to add it to Cricut Design Space. On the Prepare to Upload screen, you can change the name of your project and you can add tags, which will make it easier to find that SVG file in the future. Now go ahead and click Upload at the bottom of the screen. Once you have the file uploaded, you can select it from your recent uploads and click Add to Canvas to bring it into your canvas. Now, in the top right-hand corner of the screen, make sure that your experience is being optimized for your specific machine. This is going to change the options that Design Space gives you, and that's based on your machine's capabilities. Now, if you're making a tote bag or even an apron, you'll want to use a flexible tape measure to measure the area that you would like your design to cover. Now, I always recommend that you keep the design a few inches away from any of your seams, and that's going to give you the very best results. Not sure how large your design should be? I have a free t-shirt placement guide that I'm going to link to in the description below this video, and that will help you to size your image perfectly. Now, I am going to select the entire image and then select Attach. This is going to keep everything lined up when we go to cut it, which makes it easier to transfer it all as one design. If your image is composed of different parts and you don't attach it, it will look jumbled up on the next screen. And this is going to mean that your spacing doesn't stay intact. Now, this is just Design Space's attempt to save space by placing all of your items as close together as possible. Once you have your design ready, click Make It in the top right-hand corner, and this is going to take you to the preview screen. Okay, quick pause because this next step is really important. Something that is unique about using iron-on is that it needs to be cut backwards. Be sure to mirror your image by toggling on the mirror button. Now, if you don't do this, your image will be backwards when you iron it onto your shirt. I've made this mistake before and it's not fun. So before you cut it, double check that the image is mirrored. If it is mirrored, it's going to appear backwards on the cutting mat preview, which is exactly what we want. After you click Continue, the screen is going to prompt you to connect your machine. So go ahead and make sure that your machine is turned on and that you're either connected to your device via Bluetooth or a USB cable. Next, you'll be able to select the material that you're planning on using. For this project, I am using Everyday Iron-On. If you want to find materials quickly, you can use the search bar. And if you want to use this material frequently, go ahead and just save this material as one of your favorites. That's going to allow you to easily access it later on. Now, here's a pro tip. My personal preference whenever I cut materials is to set the pressure to more. I personally would rather it cut a little bit through that clear lining than not cut all the way through my iron-on. This is also helpful if you're not using a brand new blade. Step 2, prepare, load, and cut your iron-on material. Now, you'll notice that there are two different sides to your iron-on. There's a shiny side as well as a matte side. Now, the shiny side is the protective liner side, and that's what's going to protect your iron-on when you're ironing it onto your base. Now, the back side is actually your iron-on material, so you want to make sure that you are cutting the correct side. What you want to do is place the shiny side facing down on your Cricut mat. Now, I like to just line it up with my left-hand side corner and then I smooth it out. You want to make sure that it's firmly adhered to your mat and then you can smooth out any bubbles. Having good adhesion is a really important part of the cutting process. Now, here's a pro tip. If you're using an older mat that's lost some of its adhesive, you can always tape your material down along the sides of your mat with a little bit of painter's tape or even washi tape for a little extra security. You just want to make sure that it doesn't cover the area that you're going to be cutting. Now let's go ahead and make sure that your Cricut is loaded with the fine point blade. I like to just double check that my blade is clean. I do that by pushing down on the plunger and gently blowing away any debris that may have collected on the tip. Next, you're going to insert your mat into your machine by sliding it under the white guides and then pressing the load button. Now go ahead and press the blinking play button. If you're using an older model of a Cricut machine, it might look like a capital C. After you've pressed this button, your Cricut will begin to cut. Now, Cricut Design Space is going to show you how far along you are in the cutting process. It will go from 0% all the way to 100%. Now, before you unload your mat, you want to double check that the iron-on material has been cut all the way through. Trust me, there is nothing as frustrating as finding out that your material didn't cut all the way and having to waste a piece of material. Are you ready for another pro tip? If it hasn't cut all the way through, you can actually send your material back through for a second pass by clicking either your C Cricut button or your play button. Unfortunately, you won't be able to do this if you've already unloaded your mat because the cut will be slightly off-centered after you reload it. Now, once it's finished cutting and you're happy with the results, go ahead and press your arrow button, and that's going to release your Cricut mat. Step 3, weed your iron-on transfer design. Now it's time to start weeding our project. Now, this next step can be done a few different ways. It really comes down to your own personal preference. Personally, I like to weed my transfer while it's still on my mat, and that's because it's secure and it prevents my material from shifting around or curling up. To do this, I want to remove all of the iron-on that I do not want to transfer to my project. So first up, I am going to use my Cricut True Control knife, and I'm going to carefully cut away the material that I didn't cut into. I like to save any excess material, that way I have as little waste as possible. I'll go ahead and add that little scrap to my scrap binder, and I can pull it out for a project later on where I can utilize my snap mat feature. Now, make sure that you cut with enough pressure to cut through your material without actually cutting into your mat. Now it's time to weed our design. Now, I like to start weeding in the corner of my project, and you can use your weeding tool. That's going to make it a little bit easier to pull your iron-on away from your backing. Now, press the tip of your weeding tool into the iron-on, and you want to do this without piercing that clear protective backing, and then you can hook your iron-on. After you have it hooked, you can just gently peel it away from the backing. And I like to do this at a 45-degree angle. Then I'll switch to my fingers and just keep pulling it away from my project. You want to be really careful not to rip anything in this process. For the more intricate parts of the design, like the insides of your letters, use your weeding tool to pierce and then remove the iron-on. Now, if you need help seeing which parts of your design you need to be weeding, you can put your iron-on over a light box, or you can even hold it up to the light, and this is going to give you a slight outline of your cut lines. Now, here's another little pro tip for you. Flip your mat right side down, and then you'll want to gently peel your mat away from your design. Now, you're doing this instead of peeling your iron-on away from your mat. Doing it in this way is going to prevent your material from bubbling or curling up or even getting damaged. All of those things can negatively affect your transfer. Don't worry, your Cricut mat is designed to be able to bend without cracking. Go ahead and flip over your design just to make sure that everything looks perfect from the front protective shiny liner side. Now is a really good time to see if you weeded everything correctly. Right now is also the time to ensure that your material has been cut correctly. If your letters read backward, it means that you didn't mirror the image and you will need to cut it again. Step 4, connect your EasyPress 3 to Cricut Heat. Now that our design is ready to go, it's time to heat up your EasyPress. You'll want to plug your EasyPress into an outlet and then turn it on. Now, one of the things that I really love about my Cricut EasyPress is it rests in a downward position inside of this insulated safety base. My base is going to protect both my surface as well as my hands from any heat. It also features this really large handle, and that makes it easy to maneuver. Another thing I love is that the sides of my EasyPress are heat-free, so you don't have to worry about accidentally burning yourself. Also, the auto shut off, that's another thing that I love. If you haven't moved your EasyPress or used it within 10 minutes, it will shut off from inactivity. Now, if you're using the EasyPress 3, let's go ahead and pull up the Cricut Heat app. If you're using the earlier versions of the EasyPress, like the 1 and 2, that are not Bluetooth enabled, you will want to refer to Cricut's Heat Guide. In addition to that, I also have a printable iron-on guide, and that's going to tell you exactly what temperature you need to press your design, and that's based off of the materials that you're going to be using together. So you can download that and print it off. It's a free guide, and it's easily accessible. I've linked to it in the description below. Now, within my Cricut Heat app, I am going to select and connect my heat press. Then you'll want to select Start New Project. Press Select next to Transfer Material to find the material you're planning on applying to your base. Next, you can select the base that you're planning on applying it to. If you're not sure what your base is made out of, you can always refer to the tag of your base for more detailed information. Select Next in the top right-hand corner. This is going to display a project overview that will guide you through the entire pressing process. Now you can see that there's a short list of recommended settings that are displayed with really easy to read steps. In case you feel like you maybe need additional insight or instructions, you can click on Detailed Instructions below for more information. Now this is going to provide you with a video as well as images to guide you through the process in even more detail. Go ahead and click Send Settings to EasyPress. This is going to preheat your EasyPress and tell it exactly what's required for this material as well as the base. Now, if you're using the EasyPress 1 or 2, you will want to manually enter in your temperature as well as your time. Step 5, preheat the base and position the iron-on transfer. While the EasyPress is heating up, let's go ahead and work on prepping our base and our transfer. The first thing we want to do is to prepare our blank. So you'll want to lay your blank on top of your EasyPress mat. Now you might be wondering, what is so special about this EasyPress mat? Well, the mat's actually a really important part of achieving a flawless iron-on application. It has a really durable cover, and what it's going to do is it provides even heat distribution. Inside, there is a liner that wicks away moisture from your base to deliver dry, even heat. It's also going to reflect the heat back to your project, which helps to insulate and prevent your surface from any heat damage. Now, as an avid seamstress, convincing me not to use my beloved ironing board was a bit of a tall order. After I thoroughly tested my ironing board and my EasyPress mat, I can tell you that my EasyPress mat actually works a lot better than my metal ironing board. The ironing board is going to pull heat away from the project instead of reflecting it back towards the base. Now I even use my EasyPress mat for small sewing projects. So before applying the transfer, it's really important that we preheat our blank. This is going to remove wrinkles and it ensures a flat pressing surface. It also removes any possible moisture, which could negatively affect our transfer. I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to positioning things, and having my transfer in just the right spot, I've come up with a few different tricks to get there. So I'm going to share you one, and this is going to give you really professional looking results. Now, this tip can actually be applied to a t-shirt, a tote, even an apron. To find the exact center of your base, what I like to do is fold it in half. And on this side, I'm aligning my seams together, and I'm also making sure that my top and my bottom are lined up. Then I'm going to fold it in half once more, bringing the bottom to the top. And if you're using a t-shirt, you can use that horizontal line. You can make it right under the armpits. That will be a better spot than doing it all the way in half. Now, I'm just going to give this a quick press just to create a nice little line. This is going to be a pressing guide. It doesn't need to be really sharp. It just needs to be a light pressing guide. Now, what this does is it gives me both a vertical and horizontal pressing guide along my base, and this is going to allow me to position my transfer and really get everything lined up. Go ahead and grab your transfer material, and you can gently bend your liner sheet in half. So I carefully do this without sticking it all the way together. Then I just use my fingernails to kind of press this line, marking my center at the top and the bottom of my transfer. Now you can fold it in the opposite way and repeat this as well. And you want to make sure that you are avoiding bending or pressing your actual iron-on. I'm just applying this to my transfer sheet. Now you can go ahead and apply your design to your base. Use your little fold marks to line everything up. Now your transfer sheet should be placed a few inches away from the seams of your base. This is going to give you the very best results. If you're using a t-shirt, it should be at least a few inches away from the neckband on your t-shirt as well. Now go ahead and press down on your liner and then kind of smooth out your transfer. This is going to help to adhere the adhesive of that clear protective sheet to your base. If your transfer isn't staying in place and maybe it's rolling up, sometimes they tend to have a little bit of a mind of their own, you can always place a few pieces of heat-resistant tape to help secure your transfer. Step 6, adhere your iron-on transfer with your EasyPress. If you are using the EasyPress 3, go ahead and refer to the Heat app. This is going to guide you through this next step. If you're using the EasyPress 1 or 2, you'll want to manually enter in the amount of time as well as your heat setting. Now, once you're happy with the placement of your design, you can place the EasyPress over your design. If possible, you want to cover the entire design with your EasyPress. If it's too big for your EasyPress to cover, you can press it in multiple sections. What you'd want to do is do one half of the iron-on for the recommended amount of time, and then switch to the other side and do that for the recommended time as well. I like to slightly overlap my sections when I do this. Now you can start your press by either clicking the timer on the EasyPress or using your Heat app. Now you'll want to apply pressure to the base as directed by the Heat guide or the Heat app. The amount of pressure that you're applying really just depends on the material and your base that you're adhering it to. Most cotton materials are only going to need the light pressure of just one hand, while some of your thicker bases like wood or even canvas might need the pressure of 2 hands. After you have completed your press from the front, go ahead and flip your base over, reposition it on your mat, and you'll want to press from the back. Now, this is typically a shorter press, and it's going to ensure that your design completely adheres to the base. Again, refer to your Cricut app or the Heat guide. Now, once your press is complete, set your EasyPress back into your insulated base and leave your EasyPress on for just another minute. Step 7, remove the clear liner to reveal your finished design. Go ahead and flip your base back over. If your iron-on is a warm peel, you'll want to allow your design to cool for about 10 to 15 seconds before you peel off the backing. Now, if it's a cool or cold peel, you're going to want to wait about 1 to 2 minutes or even until it's completely cooled off. Now, I know you might be really excited to remove your liner right away, but trust me on this. If you have a cool peel, you really do need to wait until it cools down. If you remove the liner too early, your iron-on may not fully adhere to your base. Again, I have learned this lesson the hard way, and hopefully I can prevent you from having to learn it as well. Now, when your design is ready to be peeled, you'll slowly peel it away from your base at a 45-degree angle. I like to start peeling from the corner of my design. Now, as you begin peeling, check to see if your design has transferred completely. Now, if you have any lifting, that means that your iron-on is still attached to your clear liner. You'll want to stop peeling it away from the base and lay it back down. Now, here's an example of what it might look like if your transfer hasn't fully adhered to your backing. If this happens, just go back over your design with a little more heat. You'll want to do the front and the back for about 10 to 15 additional seconds at a time. Remember, use the same temperature that you were using before, and this should help your iron-on to adhere. Now, I know when this happens, it can be really frustrating, but it can happen for a variety of different reasons. So you might not have had a flat pressing surface. It also could have been that you hit a seam and that was in the way of your EasyPress. It could be you didn't press the full length of time. Maybe your pressing plate didn't make full contact with the base. There's a lot of different reasons that it could happen. You'll also want to make sure that your EasyPress was fully preheated. However, the good news is it's an easy fix. You can just add a little extra time and that should fix your problem. Now, if you peel away your clear liner and your transfer stays adhered to your base, you have successfully completed your project. Now, you can tell when you have really good adhesion. You'll be able to tell this because if you look at your iron-on, you can see a little bit of an outline of the fibers from your fabric through the iron-on. To care for your customized t-shirt, apron, or tote bag, you will want to wait at least 24 hours before you wash it, and you'll also want to turn it inside out and then tumble dry it. Now, your iron-on project should last for at least 50 washes before it shows any signs of peeling or even cracking. On the off chance that it does have any lifting, you'll just want to cover your affected area with that clear liner and give it some additional heat. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning all about iron-on and how to apply it with a Cricut EasyPress 3 and the Cricut Heat app. You can find all of the supplies that I used in this video from your local JOANN or online at joann.com. Now, let me know if you have any iron-on, Cricut, or EasyPress questions in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, go ahead, give it a thumbs up, share it on social media. For even more step-by-step tutorials, you'll want to be sure to subscribe to my channel, Sweet Red Poppy, and go ahead and take a look at all of my other Cricut videos as well. I'll be back next week with another Cricut tutorial.